For the first time ever, I am thrilled to say we have an official sponsor for the Dirt Talk podcast, and that's Ariat. I've worn Ariat boots on every job site I've visited over the years, traveling in them across 5 continents. More importantly, I have yet to find a single project where working folks, unlike me, are not wearing Ariat boots and workwear in every condition imaginable. And there's really good reason for that. And that's because it's phenomenal stuff. And the more I've learned about Ariat and the company, the more I've loved their brand. So with this, Ariat is offering any Dirt Talk listener 10% off their next Ariat order at ariat.com/dirttalk. That's 10% off boots, jeans, and workwear at ariat.com/dirttalk or at the link in this episode's description. With that, let's get to the show. So you're in Cleveland?
I'm in Cleveland.
Have you always been in Cleveland?
I always have been in Cleveland.
Are you from Cleveland?
Yes, I am.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I think Cleveland,
Rust Belt.
I think it's underrated.
Oh, it's way underrated.
Yeah.
Especially today.
Yeah.
A lot happening in Cleveland. A lot of growth, building, cool stuff, culture, restaurants.
It seems like it.
Nature, adventure.
I was pleasantly, when I first went there, I was expecting like a wasteland.
Yeah. Most people, that's what they think.
Yeah, and then I was very
Right.
pleasantly. So I'm like,
Exactly.
this
Look
is
at
a nice
lake.
place.
Oh my God, there's a huge lake here.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. And I was there in summer, so
Nice.
I've never been there in winter, and I'm
Okay.
sure
It's cold.
it's a different story
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. But yeah, I was quite surprised.
Yeah. There's a
with
lot
it.
happening.
Well, and it's it's just so fascinating because that whole area, like they call it the Rust Belt for a
Yeah.
reason. It was all steel and
Exactly.
industry.
That's what drove the whole region, the
Yeah.
whole area.
That was the game in town.
Yes.
And then it
It was
just
the epicenter of structural steel. It was
for the
everything.
for the world in a lot of ways. Like in like those mills up in there too. That was a big reason why World War II ended up the way it did. Because without that steel,
Yeah.
you don't have the ships, the tanks, the
Right.
guns. You don't have
Right.
the U.S. military. You don't have the Allied forces, which is
Public
crazy.
Steel, J&L Steel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read a biography earlier this year on Andrew Carnegie,
Oh,
which was
fascinating.
it was quite
Right?
cool. Yes,
know, I
yes,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, there are so many. There's a great podcast. Of course, can I think of the name of the Founders. I don't know if you ever listen to Founders. He does a great podcast on Andrew Carnegie. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
about the robber barons,
Mhm.
huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that was a different time.
Totally different time.
I'll have to give that a look. Yeah. It was a pretty interesting story. He would when he was a boy, they would. I don't know how they did it. Really, it was well before cell phones. Obviously, this was a long time ago, and they would have like a central. When the telegraph came about, they would have like a central location where these messages were received, and then they would give the messages to these boys, and then the boys would go out to the house
And deliver them.
and deliver the message. But then he figured out, well, wait a minute, because they were paid based on delivery. So if you could deliver more, if you could do it faster, you'd make more money. So he would memorize these people's faces. So if he ran into them on the street,
Isn't that brilliant?
yes, he could deliver the message
Yeah.
without going all the way to their house.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
More money.
Yeah, no wonder the guy ends up
Yeah.
being the wealthiest man in the world.
Entrepreneur, yes.
Yeah, it was a cool little story. So how did we get connected originally?
Dan,
See, I told you.
I know.
I told you.
Okay, and we got connected because I was on some marketing list to get, an email every couple weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
And of course, I deleted it.
Sure. Yeah.
And I finally thought, you know what, I'm just going to unsubscribe.
Yeah.
So I opened it and I went to the website, and the rest is a love story, is all I could tell you.
Wow.
I looked at your website and I just was mesmerized and blown away by your message about construction and how cool it is. And it's a great place to have a career and what you do. And I just looked at it and I was compelled to write a message to Dan. And
That's
I did.
awesome.
And I said, I just ended my 37-year-old business. I was in the construction contracting world, not dirt world.
Phone call.
Interior renovation. And I can write a book about this. I can write a book about how difficult it was to recruit great people
Yeah.
in this arena
Sure.
because it's not a desirable career path. But this is what I did and this is what I discovered. And I became very successful.
How are you writing a book?
I am.
Oh, wow. Good.
I am. I'm not too far, but I am.
Sure. Oh, it
Yeah.
takes a lot of time. I
Yeah.
don't think people
Right.
appreciate the effort it takes
Right.
to actually put
No,
something
no,
cohesive
it's-
together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So did you grow up around construction?
No, not at all. Nothing.
what
No
did
one
you-
in my family was in the world of labor at all.
What did you grow up around?
Entrepreneur.
Okay.
Yeah. My
Okay.
family, my grandparents were immigrants from Lebanon.
Wow.
That's a hot
really?
topic today.
That's a very hot topic
Yeah.
today.
And they, of course, opened a store, a delicatessen. And so
Why did they move?
they were being persecuted by the Turks.
Okay.
And they came here for better opportunity
Okay.
and well-being.
Sure.
And they didn't know the language. They didn't know anything. And they started businesses. And that's pretty much what that culture does. They're
Mhm.
entrepreneurs. They start businesses.
hmm
And so that's where I came from. And that whole premise of business was always inside of me. So I worked for a steel company all through college,
Okay.
worked my way through college. And then I worked for a big bank. I went through their management training program.
Sure.
And then, like you, so unrelated, I said, I have to do things my way.
Uh-huh.
I don't like the way people are being managed. I don't like the way people are being treated. I'm going to start a business. I don't care what it is. I
Okay.
know a lot.
Yeah.
I know a lot about business.
Sure.
Nothing about this world, nothing about contracting, commercial finishes, painting, wall covering, carpentry. I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
But I had a partner at the time that was in the trades, residentially. And I said, I can do something. I'm going to do something. I'm going to turn this into a force to be reckoned with
Okay.
contractor. And so that's how it started.
Like business partner or romantic partner?
It was a romantic partner.
Okay. So that was your first exposure to
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
And that gave you the idea.
He was in the trades. And, we stayed together for a minute and then
Wow.
we started
Yeah.
and then I kept going.
How old were you when you started?
30.
30.
Mhm.
That's pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
So what did you start with in the trade specifically?
Painting, commercial painting
Commercial painting.
and wall covering.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that,
Rough trade.
well, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a very low barrier to entry.
No barrier.
So
No barrier to entry.
which makes it really rough.
Oh,
because
for sure.
anybody
you're
can be a
fighting
painter.
everybody out of their trunk.
Yeah.
So, it was our dream that we were going to have this very highly professional company of professional craftspeople and, we would be the best. And of course, ultimately we were, but nobody really cared about that.
Sure. Yeah.
We just wanted to see the lowest price,
Uh-huh.
especially on the commercial side.
Yeah.
Yeah, no barrier to entry. You could be anybody.
Yeah. Well, and the amazing thing is, like in Phoenix, where I grew up, you have a large Hispanic population, a lot of Mexican guys.
Yes,
They'll just operate out of their pickup truck.
exactly.
And they're really good too.
Yes, they are
and
very good.
really fast.
Right.
That like everything about
Yes.
it is they're just remarkable. And so they can just outwork you. They can just outperform you
And outprice you.
and then outprice you. Yes, it's remarkable.
It's hard to have incentive not to use them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you start with painting,
Correct.
but then probably start looking elsewhere.
Well, we started with painting for general contractors. We were a subcontractor and saw that whole horrific circus party. And we were doing a lot of hotel renovations, and one thing led to the next. And we said, we could do this a lot better. We could sequence the work differently.
Mm.
We could do all these trades.
Mm.
We could do all these trades and we could sequence it so that it was efficient and perfect. And that's what we set out to do.
To be a general contractor.
Yes, and
essentially.
we did. And our focus was hotel renovation, turnkey hotel renovation, soup to nuts, from demo to finishes to bringing in new furniture, warehousing new furniture,
Really?
installing new furniture. We had a plan and a process and a system, which no one did. No one.
Well, so what were the what was the sand in the gears for working for other general contractors? What bothered you about it?
They had no idea how to sequence work at all. None. They weren't very planned or efficient.
Yeah.
They treated all the subs very badly.
Sure.
Usually. Well, especially our trade, because we were at the bottom.
Uh-huh.
There was just such a wide variety of defective management.
Yeah.
I think that's changed now. This was 37 years ago, so hopefully it's gotten a little bit better, but we really were at the forefront for what we were doing, and no one else was doing it by the time we perfected what we were doing.
It has changed in a lot of ways, and this is a world I'm not very familiar with, but it's still, there are still a lot of challenges. It's like, it's Vegas in a lot of ways, like the house always wins. So the GC wins.
Always.
Do the subs win? I don't know.
Hardly ever.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. To the good GCs, it does matter.
Yes.
But there's a lot of general contractors out there that it seems like, even how the contracts are written, and I know there's a purpose for them, but like a paid when paid clause.
Yes.
Okay, you're a multi-billion-dollar corporation,
and I'm going to wait until you get paid.
and you've got Bill's Drywall over here, waiting because you're.
So I'm funding your next project.
Yeah, because
and I'm starving to death.
Your lack of and that's not even Bill's problem. He doesn't care if you've been paid or not.
He doesn't care.
He did the work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. He just wanted to get his money so he could go to the grocery store.
Sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, you're hanging on by your fingernails. Trying to do everything you can in your book of magic to stay alive until you get paid.
Yeah.
Again, that was another defect in the whole process system of what we were working in. And so we took a whole opposite route, and we treated the subs who we felt were our partners. And we didn't put stuff out to bid and get 29 bids and take the lowest price. We made relationships. We made relationships with plumbers and drywall guys and carpet guys, and they became our partners. And that was a different way, really, of looking at things.
Okay.
We were not doing public work. We were doing only private work.
And it was all just hotels?
Mostly hotels. We did some work for schools and colleges.
Yeah.
But mostly hotels. That was our sweet spot. We really...
And just interior?
We painted exteriors, but yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Primarily interiors, yeah.
But it was a typical project, like a hotel has been there for a while and they want to freshen everything up.
Well, they have to in order to fly whatever flag they're flying, Marriott, Hilton, Hampton. They have criteria. They have to meet that criteria.
I see.
So it's not just a matter of, I think we'll repaint the rooms or we'll put some new carpet in. Probably corporate came and did an inspection and said, this is what you need to do if you want to continue to fly this flag.
I see.
So it was a for sure market.
Okay. And so you could kind of, in a way, predict which hotels would be coming up?
Or they needed to, right? We knew what improvements had to be made.
Was it sometimes aesthetic and then sometimes you're gutting the place? Did it vary or?
Yeah. I mean, again, the property owners were really at the mercy of the brand. Whatever that brand decided at that point in time, Marriott, Hilton, Hampton, whatever, that's what you had to comply with. We want a new color. We want a new look. We want this new furniture. That became a really hotbed, and we became very good with the furniture because it was so complicated.
Yeah.
Furniture became not just a bed, nightstand, and a dresser. It became pieces of furniture that had 79 parts and each part moved and, you needed to be a genius to put it together. So that was good.
Yeah.
For us.
Yeah. It's the hotels work. This is a world I'm not familiar at all. So you've got the Marriott hotel, but Marriott doesn't own that hotel typically.
Correct.
There's a property owner.
Yes.
It's a piece of real estate.
That's right.
And they collect revenue from that hotel, but then they also pay Marriott to have the Marriott name.
You got it.
I see. So then Marriott says, because you have our name on the building,
yes,
this is XYZ what you need to do to keep that name there.
That's right.
And the property owner is incentivized to have that name there because it's that brand.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right. That's exactly right. And there's so many brands. It's unbelievable.
The first few years, what were the major pain points? I'm sure there were plenty.
Oh my gosh, you already said it. Getting paid.
Getting paid.
From and recruiting and putting together an excellent team that was highly skilled and professional. All of that. People that wanted to be in the trades. People that wanted to be in the trades.
So even, and this was 30 years ago.
Right. It was even worse.
It was even worse.
Oh my gosh.
Really?
Yeah, nobody wanted to be in trades. That was not a desirable career path.
Okay.
That's changed, I believe, to a certain extent.
Sure.
However, it's still not a real desirable career path for a college graduate.
Yeah.
For most people, most young people. It's not, I don't believe, something that parents push their kids to do.
Why?
Or get into.
Why is that?
I don't know. What do you say? You're faced with the same obstacles in the dirt world.
So I think part of it, and I'm thinking more and more about this, I spoke on this yesterday for an event with Procore. I think the industry needs to be honest with itself. Over here. Industry needs to be honest with itself and really ask, is this a place that a parent should absolutely say, yes, I want my child to be there? And there are a lot of great things about it. And I'm guilty of, in a sense, I have something bothering me here. I'm guilty in a sense of glamorizing the trades in a way. I don't stage stuff. I don't set it up, but the way I shoot makes things look pretty extraordinary.
Yeah.
And they are extraordinary.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of great things, but I feel like the conversation when it comes to bringing in the next generation is all about how great the trades are. And pays no attention to the dark side. That is the people dying by suicide at a record rate, the people dying by opioid overdose at a beyond record rate, the number of people that are remarkably unhealthy, the number of broken families as a result of the lifestyle in a lot of ways, broken bodies of the lifestyle in a lot of ways. Like there's even like, you look at West Texas and it's like a joke about how all these kids are spending all this money on all this dumb shit because no one's taught them how to manage money effectively.
No one's taught them how to manage money.
Yeah. And so there's all of these clear problems that I feel like simultaneously, yes, recruiting and attracting is a piece, but shouldn't we really pay attention to the existing workforce? Like, isn't that the best place to start? Because to me, it's like that probably is the best place to start.
What do you mean? You mean hiring people that are already in this trade?
No, like I understand the realities of business. You need new people. But as a business owner, my first priority should be how do my people here feel? Are they good?
Yeah, of course.
Do I have a turnover problem?
No, you better be looking at that.
And it's like, why do I have a turnover problem?
Mm-hmm.
How can I reduce that turnover? Like that's
culture.
Yeah, but I should start with like my household, my business first and foremost.
Sure.
Before I really plow into recruit and retention. And ironically, if I have a great business to work for, I will attract more people as time goes on.
Correct, but you will still have to recruit.
You will still have to recruit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, you are right. People will know who you are. They will know your culture. They will know your company, and they'll want to work for you.
Yeah.
But see, now you've just opened up a whole door here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when you talk about not glamorizing the industry or what we do, that is true. However, what we need to glamorize is our own companies.
Sure.
Our own culture, our own philosophies.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really, really the heart of whatever it is you're doing.
Yeah.
Whatever, it doesn't matter what you're doing. I mean, you're going to recruit great people because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever the job is secondary.
Sure.
That's secondary.
Yeah.
It's your company that really is going to attract the people first.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not the company, it's the people within the company.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. You're going to come to work for BuildWitt because of Aaron Witt.
And That's one of the big things we've started to realize.
That's it.
Like
That's it.
Well, I'm speaking at the summit about this. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know very much. I'm still in my 20s. I get it. I understand. But I've gotten to see a lot of companies now in a very intimate way. So if I lay out the best in class companies, what are the common themes?
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the common themes is they have a leader.
Yes.
Or leaders that are present.
That are present.
There's
Correct.
different ways to do that.
There's
no right way.
Right.
But
you need to be there. You need to be visible.
You have
once
to
in a while, you got to be in the dirt. Sorry, but you got to be in the drywall. You got to be there.
Yes.
You have to be there. They have to see you.
Yes.
They have to know what it is you stand for.
Yeah.
And your company will be the personality of you, Aaron.
And I tried to get away from that and then realized that's a
good.
Terrible idea. Yeah, because it's
good.
It's a good thing. It's a great thing.
Yeah.
And it scales too, which is quite
Yes.
amazing. And I feel like that's what happens. Like these big corporations, they lose that. They lose like the personality.
They totally lose the personality. They don't have that sense.
And there's just like, they're just cold.
People are important. That's really the only thing that's going to make your organization go is the people.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that matters. The only thing.
Did you, so how did you do that?
Okay. So I started in the very early days, we hired journeymen in the trades.
Because it's a union.
Yes.
Very union.
Right. And of course, our ads read, help wanted, 2 to 3 years experience necessary. Always had to have experience.
Yep.
And we had journeymen. And
journeymen, for people that don't know.
Journeymen are typically individuals that have gone through some type of formal union program in a trade, whether it be painting or drywall or electric, whatever it is that you're doing.
But they're inexperienced.
But they're experienced.
Oh, they are experienced.
Yes, they are experienced. And so did a lot of that the first few years. And those individuals were not receptive to new ideas about how to do things in the trades. Like, it's really important that we keep the job site really clean. We're going to vacuum now, guys.
Sure.
Okay. Little things like that sound ridiculous became landmark for us and our reputation later on in the company's life. So these individuals were not open and receptive as I wanted to be in my newly formed company. I had these grandiose ideas.
Yeah.
And so I started to recruit at college campuses. And I recruited college kids, and no, they were not in the trades, and they had maybe no experience with a drill, a paintbrush, or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But they were eager to learn, and I hired them usually for the summer, but a lot of times they continued to work through the school year part-time, and then I had kids that were working with me all through their college career.
Really?
Yeah. So they graduate, and now they're staying. They're not leaving. And at one point, myself and my manager said, you know what? This is not just a temporary job for college kids. This is going to be permanent. They're going to stay.
I guess, what were the logistics of this? How do you approach saying, I'm going to go recruit college kids?
College fairs.
So you go to the career fairs?
Yeah. I'd be the only contractor there.
Really?
No contractor. This was 1990.
Yeah. Okay.
There were no contractors at college fairs. At that time, too, you could be on campus handing out flyers.
Sure.
That was great. I would call fraternities, sororities.
So you got creative.
Very creative. And we also traveled doing these jobs. And I would do the same thing when we traveled. Hired college kids. It was fantastic. I'm still in touch with some of them.
What would you tell these college kids?
This is a labor job, but it is so much fun. And this is what we pay, which was typically much more than what the average hourly rate was.
Sure.
And I'm very flexible. We'll work around your school schedule. If you could only work in the morning, that's great. If you could only work in the afternoon, that's fine too. And you're going to learn something. You're going to learn a trade.
Okay.
And it just was phenomenally successful.
So was the majority of your workforce college kids then?
At the end, they were all college kids. They had all been at one time college kids.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
The whole time?
By the time I sold the company, my entire dream team, yes.
They all came from
Yes.
college.
Yes.
But this is not college, quote unquote, traditional college work.
No.
It's construction.
Commercial construction, spraying an airless sprayer, demoing carpet, demoing wallpaper.
Really?
Yes. Drywall, installing drywall, tape and mudding.
So you get these college kids. I think the money is a component.
Yes.
I think in some markets, and I know this is governed by economics in a lot of ways, but the rates for some construction work now
is very high.
Well, it's very high, and in other markets, it's very low.
Yeah.
And so I can go work in a warehouse for the same, if not more, than I can work in the construction crew.
Right.
So I'm going to go work in the air-conditioned warehouse. It's summer. I don't need to be outside.
Yeah.
But other places, it's really high.
Right.
I do think that's an important thing. Mm-hmm. But so you get them in the door. What do you do with them? Like the first day, first week?
All right. So what do we do with them? So they're doing some kind of entry-level job. But what kept them and grabbed them and kept them with us was my existing team. My 2 managers, my 2 top dogs, who I recruited the same way, but 10 years prior, 15 years prior. They adopted all of my ideas. They adopted the philosophy. They adopted the culture, the fun, all of this that we talked about. Every hard job that we did, we called it a party. And so that just mesmerized college kids. And I mean, it was just such a bizarre way of looking at hard labor. Yeah. And it became a party. And so people just loved what they did. They loved working with this unique group of people that, unloaded trucks and were singing. And I know that sounds like so altruistic. And really, did that happen? It really did happen. It really did. Yeah.
Did you have to talk people into this at first?
The recruits?
No, your management team, essentially.
Yeah, in the very beginning, yes, of course. And that's how I, started to take this route of hiring college kids.
Was it just trust me on this?
No, it was like, this is what we're doing.
Okay.
Yeah. This is how it's going to go.
Because you have to have that buy-in. Somebody has to teach them.
Yes.
And they have to be bought in on it.
Yes.
To be willing to teach them.
Correct.
If you don't have that, it doesn't work.
Your top dogs have to buy in.
Yeah.
They have to buy in. They have to be part of it.
Okay.
They have to be talking, party, fun, all of that.
But you
they
must
have to be able to say, this is how we do things here.
But before you started to do it, you must have had enough trust with those individuals.
Well, they had been with me since they were babies.
Okay. So if you said, hey, I feel really strongly about this. This is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
They don't have to sit there and ask questions.
Nope.
Hey, if you haven't steered me wrong.
Yeah. They saw the results and they believed it.
Okay.
Yeah. And so they believed it and they worked that way and they lived that way.
Wow.
Yeah. It was pretty incredible. It really was.
It's interesting you say all this because my first job out of college was a road construction project in Texas. So I was on the very beginning of the project, which was quite interesting because we got to start it up. And one of the things that's necessary for a multi-year project is some kind of office space.
Yeah.
You need somewhere to conduct meetings and
makeshift desks.
Yeah. Do your thing.
Uh-huh.
So I love construction because of the responsibility. Mm-hmm. The amount of responsibility they give you is insane.
Yeah.
And I thought I was 20 counting blows for pile driving on Union Pacific Railroad, their main line. And I was sitting there realizing I'm the one that tells them if the pile's driven far enough or not.
And these guys are how much older than you?
I'm 20 years old. I don't know anything. And then when I go do blasting, I'm the one counting all the explosives and I have the keys to the semi-trailer full of explosives on site. And it's like, what? And then 22, you get into construction. Project manager's like, we need an office space. Figure it out. I'm
nice.
like, okay.
Well, you were very well trusted.
Well, I don't know I don't think it was that. I think it was he had so much going on. It's like, this is another problem that I don't need to deal with. Figure it out.
Okay.
And maybe it wasn't the case, but I think that's kind of how it was. So I go try to figure it out. I go find these options. We end up renting this just shit office space. It was like It was like a printing shop. It wasn't even an office space.
Yeah.
And so it was all we could find. And then our job, me and the other engineer's job on the project, was to make it into an office space, just blank slate. So there we were, painting and stripping carpet and getting carpet installed. And we need new doors, and going to like the used office furniture store and looking at the folding tables, like, grab 6 of those in the back and put them in the pickup truck. And you turn this place into an office.
Yeah.
And it was, it wasn't, I'm looking at it from like with rose-colored glasses on right now. It wasn't all fun. It was, summer. In Texas.
It was hard work. Yeah.
It was hard work, but it was also a blast. It was also,
you got it.
And I saw what my other friends were doing after college, and they're just sitting at a computer.
There you go.
Like, I don't know, counting spreadsheets, whatever they're doing.
You're
no
moving
imagination.
Around, you're making things happen.
Yeah,
you're
making decisions. I'm creating something.
Yeah,
exactly. It was awesome, and it looked like shit. It was a terrible place, but it was like our little space. So it's funny you say that, because right out of college,
analogy.
that's what I was doing, and I really really did enjoy it.
Yeah, I love it. That's so great.
Do you, people? I think the apprehension to hiring people with no experience is that they have no experience.
Right.
And I've got this schedule, and I've got this owner breathing down my neck. I don't have time.
Yes. Right.
So how did you have time?
Right. You don't have time to not have time.
Mm-hmm.
You have to raise them yourself. You have to train them yourself. You have to raise them yourself. So typically, whoever is new coming on board, college student, or not necessarily always a college student, but most of the time, that person is going to be assigned to one of my experienced people.
Okay.
And you're going to stay with that person, and they're going to show you exactly the right way to do things and how it's done. You may be never picking up a paintbrush until 3 months from today. All you're going to do is sand walls, and we're going to show you how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how it started. That new person would be assigned some experienced person within the company, and they would work with that person.
I see.
As much as possible. We would never expect a newly hired entry-level person to go to a job site alone, ever.
Yeah.
They couldn't.
Well, that,
and if you,
that's the industry standard, though.
If you hire people who are like you being initiative, drive, energy, want to learn, they'll learn fast.
Sure.
It's not brain surgery.
No. How did you identify these kids? How did you make sure you were hiring the right kid?
This is funny. Depending on how fast you walked.
Really?
Shake my hand.
Really?
Yeah. Right. If you've got a nice, speedy walk, if you've got some peppiness to your walk and some energy in your persona, you're going to work out great here.
Really?
Yeah. I know. Listen, I use so many tools to hire and screen and, tests and just everything you can think of. I had professional people do interviewing and everything.
Yeah.
It's a crapshoot, and you got to use your instincts. That's my feeling. Of course, again, now you have a smaller company, 30 people, but you can scale that large.
Sure.
That's, your HR department, your recruiting department. That's what they need to look for.
That's interesting.
Isn't it?
That's very interesting. Because I understand it in a lot of ways. It's quite interesting, though, especially nowadays, because that was a different time in a sense.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that just don't even know how to shake a hand.
Right.
Or introduce themselves.
Yes.
Or say their name.
Yes.
Clearly.
Yes.
And ask for somebody else's name. Like those basics don't in a lot of they're missing. And so I wonder how true that would be today, but it would probably still hold true in a lot of ways.
It does.
Yeah.
Definitely does. Yeah. So we use those little things as a gauge.
Yeah.
And of course, conversation, the interview, all of that. Just was that individual's energy, I guess, would be my best answer.
And I guess it's also lower risk if they're
Yeah.
If they don't work out, they don't work out.
Right. They don't work out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hardly ever did that happen.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And of course we did our share of hiring from Indeed and temp companies and so forth. And those individuals, those situations usually did not work out.
Really?
Yeah.
It's funny you say all this because it aligns very well.
Oh, good.
With
I'm so glad you're saying that, Aaron.
Well, I mean, obviously it's worked out for you, so you don't need my advice, but it aligns really well with at least what I hear from the industry.
Yeah.
They're all recruiting experienced people, but they all say that they would rather have inexperienced people that they can teach.
Exactly.
Which is so funny to me.
Stop hiring experienced people because they have their own set of stupid ideas.
Yeah, well, and experienced people have a lot of bad habits.
I want to say that, but that's right.
But that's the irony, and there is value in experience in certain positions. I completely appreciate,
of course,
the value of experience, but you have to work as hard, if not harder, on some of these experienced people to unteach them a lot of what, or sometimes it takes them. I've seen it take a year or two for experienced people to finally really understand, or to break free of the shackles that are their past corporate abuse.
Yes. Could you write that down? That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And then turn themselves around and perform a task the way you want it performed. How about that? Well, you said it. That's it.
We have, I don't know, 60, 65 people working here right now.
That's a lot of people, Aaron.
It is. It's really cool. I think it's awesome. But we've probably had total maybe 130, 140. So it's quite a few people over the course of 6.5 years.
Yeah.
But we've changed in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. So it's all different things that the reason why we've gone through certain individuals. But I've seen enough now to start seeing some, I have a big enough sample size to start seeing some themes, patterns. Uh-huh. Yeah. And there's just a lot of people that are really abused from past work experience and past environments.
Another demographic that worked also besides college students, I started hiring semi-retired individuals or individuals that, had just recently been let go because of their age.
I see.
But
had no construction experience.
Not necessarily, right. No construction experience, but still wanted to work. Also you have to be looking for people that are open to work in labor too. I mean, it's not just a matter of anyone. I mean, who would be interested in a position that you're going to install 110 pieces of artwork in 3 days. So you'll be using a drill every day, 8 hours a day. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So those individuals too that maybe did some of that stuff at home.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah. I see.
And then we could train them.
Well, how would you find that?
All different ways. They would come to us.
Well, I'm sure at a certain point you build a reputation and you become that person or company that gives college kids a shot and pays them a bunch of money.
Yes.
They work hard.
Exactly. And so they would say, hey, my so-and-so just got let go from XYZ company because they downsized. And
I see.
Yeah. Sometimes that works out.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm. That really is.
I know. How are you recruiting then?
We've built a brand.
Yeah, I know. And people want to work here.
And people want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a mission. There's a brand. We spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to build our company and our people and our teams. Mm-hmm. And we have not by any means gotten it right.
You'll keep refining it. Is what you'll see.
Yeah. But
it'll never be absolutely perfect.
No. Well, that's the funny thing about it too. The goalposts are always moving.
Yeah.
So it's nothing is stationary.
Right.
It's a really dynamic environment. Mm-hmm. And if you think you got it figured out, you are in for a world of hurt at some point.
Yep.
It's what I've realized though. It's funny you say all this because what I've realized is, and we crossed paths earlier this year, but I didn't get to hear you speak because I had to go fly somewhere else.
Okay.
And so I didn't get to hear any of this.
Right.
I had no background.
Okay.
I'm exploring all this in real time.
Yeah.
I've really come to appreciate. I have quite a young team, and I've really come to appreciate this thought of my role as a leader in a lot of ways is to take these kids and make them adults. And I don't say that in any kind of derogatory sense.
No.
I'm just realizing, especially with this current generation, myself included, that no one's taught them these life basics.
That's life skills.
They have not gotten life skills anywhere. Their parents didn't teach them.
Yes.
School didn't teach them.
Yes.
Previous employers, if they've had them, did not teach them.
Exactly right.
And so they come here and they don't, I mean, maybe they have some basics, but a lot of times they don't have the basics. But it's not their fault. And if I can be the one to give them those basics that they then can base the rest of their entire life upon.
Yes.
I don't know. That's a pretty big win.
That's a pretty big win. That's a really big win. And I'm sure you've already seen the benefits from it.
100%. Yeah, because it creates this loyalty.
Yes, that was my next word to you was you're creating loyalty.
Yeah, because they're like, wow.
You're improving their lives.
Yes.
And that's what your job is. Your job as an owner and a leader is to improve the lives of everyone around you.
Yeah.
That's what your job is.
Yeah.
I know. The loyalty would be unbelievable.
It's still, I've really come to realize this over the past 6 months, 12 months or so, but it's a really cool
Isn't it?
opportunity.
I love it. It's a staggering opportunity not to be taken lightly.
No.
Change so many lives.
Yeah. But if you can create a business that does that.
Yes. No matter what it is your business is, it doesn't matter whether you're, like I said, dirt or drywall or painting or whatever, electric, moving furniture, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, it applies anywhere.
It applies anywhere.
I've come to realize that's the model.
Yes.
If you take kids, make them into productive adults.
Exactly. And give them meaning.
And that's part of it. Yes.
Yeah. So my talk was this. So in order to create a dream culture, dream team, this is what I discovered. This is my playbook. I learned there's 3 things necessary. First of all, you have to have fun. There's got to be some fun here. And I already know that you guys are fun.
Yeah.
Just this whole podcast room is fun.
Sure. Yeah.
All around me is fun. I see it. So that's very, very important. So fun for us translated to, we had this party code word and all this. Fun, meaning and purpose. There needs to be a certain amount of meaning and purpose to what everyone does. Everyone needs to know that what they're doing matters, no matter what.
Yeah.
Whether you're sweeping the floor, whether you're counting the money, it doesn't matter. It's got to have some meaning and purpose to it. And the last component is it needs to be exclusive. Not everyone can be in this club. And you don't want everybody in this club.
Well, that's the only way.
And that's the exclusivity makes everyone so powerfully strong and loyal because they belong to this special team.
I mean, exclusivity is another word for a standard.
Yes.
Though there's a standard.
Right.
And not everybody meets the standard.
Not everybody meets the standard. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Before this, you were asking what we've changed with our marketing. One of the biggest things I said, we're not having fun. We need more fun.
Exactly.
Why are we being so serious? This isn't us. What are we doing?
Right.
Like can we play a little bit?
Yes.
Can we have a good time?
Yeah,
like
somebody come up with an idea for fun.
Yeah, did someone die? Like what come on, let's get going here. Why aren't we having a good time?
I love you. That's totally it. That's right. Exactly.
Yeah, and it's I just
and there's so many different ways you can make things fun.
So many different ways.
You already know what it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We would too, and just depending on what the work is, you can make it fun in some meaningful way.
That's what drives me nuts sometimes. Is like I get this is a serious world.
Yeah.
I get we don't want to kill people. Yes, we're working like on a nuclear power plant. There's I understand all of that, but who doesn't want to enjoy where they spend a majority of their time?
Exactly.
That's not unreasonable.
No, right.
And I
it's also a mindset too.
Yes, I think it totally is. Yeah. When I started in construction, Phoenix, Arizona, summer, it's rough.
Hot.
It's really rough. And I had never been in an environment like that consistently every day.
Yeah.
And I was with these Mexican guys, and we would talk so much shit to one another.
Yeah.
It was a blast.
Yes.
That's
fun. That is fun.
But they made a point about it. It wasn't like we have to talk shit to one another. We have to have fun.
It's your own language.
Yeah. Or else, I mean, what we're doing is miserable.
Yeah.
So we have to do this.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Exactly.
Like it doesn't make the work any easier, but it makes the work easier.
Makes the work easier. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like put on a spray suit. And I've got 100 gallons of paint, and we're going to spray all 100 gallons in one day. Okay, so get ready for some serious fun.
Yeah.
It's awful.
It's awful.
It's awful.
But
work.
you can still have a great time in a way.
You can have a great time if you approach it that way.
And that's what drives me nuts sometimes about.
See, you already discovered it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You already
and I'm
know
trying
about
to foster it. Yeah. But that's what drives me nuts about some of these corporate people is like.
Yeah, it's all so serious.
It's like, why is everything so serious? Just take a deep breath.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
just lighten up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever told a joke? Try it. It's it's a good time.
Yeah.
I've gotten in a lot of trouble from the corporate folks, like for swearing, for example.
That's why you have BuildWit. You started BuildWit because of what you're saying.
So I can swear here. It's great. Like I love swearing because it's fun. It's just fun. Okay. So if you're going to take that from me, whatever. 2, it helps me relate to other people. When I go onto a job site, he's not one of those corporate people. He talks shit. Yes. Like he talks like us.
Right.
Cool.
Trash talk.
Yes. And
we talk trash all the time.
Like, and you don't have to swear.
Yes.
But it's just something I really love. I really enjoy it.
Understand it. Right.
And it's been like a internal conflict at some points, like, maybe I should clean my act up. I'm like, no, I enjoy it. I have fun, and it's been quite effective for me. So I'm going to keep doing it.
Then keep doing it.
But that was just one small example.
Well, you're on it. You're onto it. That's what it is. That's what I discovered, and it works.
It does. I would say the best performing operations I've been to, everybody's having fun.
Yeah, exactly. And then pretty soon you create your own little, your own language, your own village of how you do things.
Yeah.
And that makes it exclusive. It also makes it fun. And it becomes yours. It becomes your BuildWit. It becomes you.
Yeah.
And that's pretty fun. It is.
Uh-huh.
And people are proud of that. They're loyal. They love talking about it. Well, that's the greatest thing when they talk about it.
Yeah.
This is how we do it here.
That is cool. Yeah. Because it's unique. It's unique.
Right.
It's
right.
I was talking to Dan and Jason and Randy this morning about something, an experience I've had in somewhat recent time. I've just begun to realize too, some of these, I communicate very transparently, which I find
key to your success.
It's easier to do this. Mm-hmm. But then I talk to these people in like the business world, and it's just like, what happened to you? What did they do to you?
They worked for the wrong company.
Well, but it's a lot of these big operations. Right. It's almost like they sound like a lawyer. Like everything is so calculated. Yes. I can't have an opinion because that could be controversial.
Exactly.
Like I'm going to be right in the middle.
Yeah.
And
I won't go that way or that way.
No risk. I'm not going to use any big words because that could be inflammatory and stuff. Like I don't know what happens, but it's like they forget to communicate like a person. And
have a relationship.
Yeah, but then if you're able to communicate like a person, you stand out.
Yes.
Which is
crazy.
And it's so much more fun to just talk like a person and to be a person and to have opinions and to have discussions with one another and to not always agree, so on and so forth.
I want to start clapping.
Yeah. It's
excellent.
No,
you got it. You get it. You totally get it.
Obviously, I'm quite excited about all this.
I know. I love it. It's great.
I think that's one of the advantages of doing this while being young too. I don't have those bad habits.
Yeah. And you're open to all of this.
I'm open to it. Yeah. Somebody asked me yesterday, he's like, do you, as the founder, are you open to being wrong? Do you have discussion within the business, so on and so forth? It's like, yes. I think that's one of the best things about being in my 20s doing this.
Yeah.
I'm fully aware I don't know what I'm doing. And so if somebody says, hey.
Well, you know what you're doing, Aaron. You're open to
kind
learning.
of.
And there's
Yes.
things that you don't know, but you're open to learning. So
You could spin that to make the argument that I do know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because I know that I don't know what I'm doing.
Exactly right. That's right. That's right.
But it's like I am more than open to feedback.
Yeah.
I am more than open to being wrong.
That's so great.
Because I don't know any better.
Yeah.
Which I think is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Huh.
What's been your biggest mistake in founding the business?
I got away from that. I thought I knew what I was doing.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
We all make that mistake. All of us.
Yeah. It was, and it was, at this point, and it will not be at a certain point, but it was a very expensive mistake.
Yeah.
Thinking I knew what I was doing.
Well, I've made a lot of expensive mistakes.
Yeah. And it's still, there is definitely still some shame associated with it.
Well, you'll not make the mistake again, and you'll learn from it.
Definitely not.
The only way you could. That's the only way you can look at it.
Yeah.
You know.
I just look back on myself though. I'm just like, what was I doing?
Exactly. How come I didn't know that? Why was I so stupid?
Yeah.
Why didn't I know that thing.
Yeah. Well, why did I think I knew what I was? Because I had no idea what I was doing.
Why did I look at a blueprint and think I could put together a takeoff proposal? And I had no idea. And underestimated the job by thousands of dollars because I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah. It's I've come to reflect upon that a lot.
Good.
This year especially, which has been good for me.
What's your long term? What's your long-term goal? What's your vision?
Be the most influential business in the dirt world.
You're on your way.
We're on our way.
Close there.
Well, there's a long way to go. It'll be a lifelong endeavor.
Of course. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
It's always a lifelong endeavor.
Yeah,
life is a lifelong endeavor, right?
Yeah, I don't know. We've raised money, and then that puts you on a different trajectory, and then people start talking. They're like, "Oh, they're doing this for the money, whatever it is. This is an exit play." And it's like, we have investors. Do I have to create liquidity at some point? Yes.
Yeah.
But there's a million ways to do that, and that's not the motivation. That's not why we did it.
Successful businesses are not motivated by money.
If I was motivated, if I was doing this for money,
you would not be doing it.
No way.
I understand.
No way.
Right. However, it is your job to be the keeper of the profits, and you have to make money. You have to make a profit. Otherwise, you cannot employ people. And you cannot pay people, and they can't provide for their families. So it is your job to make sure that you are making a profit, because you made that commitment in hiring 49 people or however many people you have, 400 people, doesn't matter. You do have to make money, but it's not perhaps your drive to seek wealth and fortune.
Yeah, you have to create a very good business model, because that, like Bob Chapman's put it in a really nice way, that's the safe bus for everybody.
Yeah.
And that's one of my other core points of my summit talk is the best companies are the most profitable.
Yeah.
And you have to have a disciplined business first to give you the money to then invest in people, which then gives you more money.
Right.
Then creates that cycle.
Yeah.
But you can't really invest in people without a great business model.
No, exactly.
It doesn't work.
Exactly. Right.
So how many college kids have you?
Oh my God, hundreds over the years. Lots.
So this is something that's been repeated.
And both of my kids, I would recruit their friends.
Mm-hmm.
All my kids, all their friends worked for the company. All of them. So that was another good source.
Yeah,
and my friends' kids, and it can be an endless, recruiting.
Just kids. You're just always looking for motivated individuals.
I still look for them now, wherever I'm at. I look for young, energetic kids.
So what do you look for now? Is it the same thing?
Yeah.
Just looking for energy.
Exactly. Energy. Enthusiasm.
Yeah. That's Even
Nothing
something,
great in life was ever achieved without enthusiasm.
but that drives me nuts sometimes too. It's like, let's get on with it.
Yeah.
Let's be purposeful. But
Yeah.
just like, ask me the damn question, or let's like, come on, we
Yeah.
don't have all day.
Yeah.
We gotta go.
Yeah.
Let's
Right.
hurry it up here.
Urgency.
Yeah, spit it out, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of people are just so laid back and just kind of doing their thing.
Oh my gosh. Well,
and-
you see,
Well, and you'll get the one audience says, well, you've got to enjoy life and you've got to take a deep breath. You've got to take it all in. I understand that. I appreciate that. But I also,
we got a job to do.
yes, I
And
feel
we
a
need
sense
some-
of
and
urgency.
you
Let's
have
get
to
on
have
with
urgency. What we use that as one of our words to aspire to, urgency.
it. Really?
Yes, attack everything with urgency.
Yeah.
Attack your job with urgency.
Uh-huh.
It's got to get done. It's got to be good. It's got to be perfect, but be urgent about it. You can't be just what you said, laid back and that was not our culture.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that worked somewhere else, but not in our world.
But what drives me nuts, there's a lot of jaded people like, well, I'm being taken advantage of by the company, and so I'm going to take my time. Like
You don't want those people.
that is the worst mentality
That is the worst
to have.
mentality in the entire world.
Yeah.
If that person has that mentality, it could be the mistake of the company. And if it's not the mistake of the company,
Uh-huh.
if it is a great place to work and you have somebody that has those ideas, they can't stay with you.
Yeah.
They cannot stay.
Yeah.
They won't make it, and they'll bring everybody else down.
Well, and I think there are, like any other industry, there's a lot of bad companies
Sure.
that have taken advantage of a lot of people.
Absolutely.
And it happens today.
Yeah.
But that also gives any company willing to do things the right way a
Right.
huge advantage.
It does.
Huge competitive advantage.
Right.
That's the interesting thing about construction is there's a lot of creativity, but there's not a lot of creativity.
Right.
Because you're building the exact same thing. Like, you can't go to Marriott and be like, Marriott,
Yeah,
I actually like this design better.
exactly.
It's like, no, just build the damn thing.
Right.
Like we told you. And
Right.
if you don't do
That's
it,
right.
we're going to go find somebody else that
and
does.
That's exactly what they'll say.
Yes. Yeah.
We don't care what your design idea is. Doesn't matter to us. This is how we want it.
Yeah. So there's only so much room for innovation
Right.
when it comes to building the thing.
Right.
You can't really innovate there all that much.
No,
and
that's-
I feel like the innovation there is overstated.
Yeah.
But you really can innovate when it comes to people
And how they do things.
and how they do things.
How they think of work,
Mhm.
how they think about coming to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you can. Yeah. And life. Yeah, everything. You just have such an opportunity to change people's lives and bring people together as a team with one common goal. It's
So if you like hiring these kids, if you had to have one thing, it would be that enthusiasm.
yes,
Everything else is negotiable,
correct.
or everything else is a bonus.
Yes.
If you had enthusiasm, though, you're good to go.
That's right.
Did you ever run into the problem of, from like an insurance standpoint or anything like that, customer standpoint? Hey, you can't be putting
Oh, young kids.
inexperienced people.
No, because like I said, we had them paired or partnered, or they were with,
Always mentored in a way.
yes, other good, experienced people. But I have to say, now that you mention it, it occurred, to us many times, which would be why don't send James out there unless Ralph is with him. Okay.
Sure.
Because I don't want that customer thinking that we're just sending people here that don't know what they're doing.
I see.
Yeah, you're up. That's
So
a
that
good
was
point.
a reality of
Yeah,
it.
of course.
Yeah.
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 But we were careful about it.
Yeah. You kind of have to read the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And definitely monitored the work and everything that was happening.
Yeah. Did you have problems with safety, quality?
No, I mean, problems.
Well,
You're always on top of it.
yeah. You're a contractor.
Take your OSHA training and make sure that you're following OSHA guidelines. We did a lot of, we also did a lot of furniture installation for new builds. New hotel, we would install all the new furniture. So we were bringing in furniture off of a lull into a window,
Mhm.
very shaky conditions. And so you had to be tied off and all that OSHA jazz of safety, which was absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we were up on all of it. We, were safe and followed the rules and regulations of OSHA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess if they're with somebody, that's
Again,
that's
you would
it.
never put somebody that was inexperienced, in a position or a situation where they didn't know what to do or they didn't have the training.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, it is.
How were you present within the business?
I'd be on site a lot.
A lot?
Yeah. I went through a period of time after I got out of the business side, because in the beginning days, I was just on the business side and I had foremen and other people totally running everything. That's when I had journeymen. And so at some point in time, I decided, I need to be in the field. If I want to change things and implement my ideas, I got to be working. I have to be out there.
Yeah.
And I did that. And my admin staff said, that was the best thing you ever did. So I put the work clothes on, put the boots on, and I went in the field and sanded walls. And
that's the irony is there's a bunch of cliches in business. You have to work on the business, not in the business.
Yeah.
No. You have to work in the business and on the business.
That's right.
You have to do both. It's not one or the other. This isn't binary.
Aaron, you have figured that out.
Well, I figured it out by experience.
There's a lot of criticism about that.
Yeah.
You have to work on the business and not in the business. No, just what you said. You have to do both.
Well, and even when you're counseled, I've been counseled hey, that's stupid for you to do.
Exactly.
But then I'll say yes at face value.
Yeah.
It is stupid for me to do.
Right.
However,
yes,
bigger picture here. But it's important.
I need to do it and understand how they're doing it. And they need to see me do it too. And then, I won't do it every day. I won't do it forever, but I need to do it now.
Yeah.
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 Exactly.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll do it again next year. And so they need to know that I can do it and I'm willing to jump in and I need to see how it's being done and that we're all on the same page.
Yes.
Yeah. You got it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I had some coaching and consulting. I heard the same thing. Why are you doing that? Why are you out there? Why are you working like that? That's ridiculous. You can't be doing that. That's what made us so good. That's what made us so good.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
So don't let anybody else tell you otherwise.
No.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're out there.
Well, there was it's a silly little lesson, but it's been a great lesson. I've learned a lot of lessons.
Yeah.
This year. Go figure. We've tried to make this one thing that's just bothered the hell out of me for years now is I wanted to make an online store. And it's not to make money.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, it's not even a drop in the fucking bucket right now compared to the business overall.
Sure.
It's never been to make money. It's been to create a physical extension of our brand, which is really important to connect with people.
Brilliant.
It's a key component of making what we're making successful.
Yeah.
So that's why it's always been something we need to do. It's never been successful.
The store.
It's never, ever, ever, ever been successful. And then I realized months ago, it's not successful because I don't understand it.
Okay.
Because I haven't been involved from the ground up. So I need to wipe the slate clean.
Yeah.
And do everything myself.
Yep.
That's the only way I'm going to figure this out.
That's it.
There's no other way to do it. And so I've been in the office packing shipments hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times over the past 2 months.
So you see what's involved. See how it's done. What's the process going to be?
I completely understand it now.
Yeah.
And it's like, why didn't I do this 3 or 4 years ago?
You got it.
This is so silly.
I know, but you figured it out.
Yeah,
Excellent.
but there's also the criticism how is this going to look? Like you have more important things to do or
right.
And it kind of is procrastinating in a way too. It's like, yeah, I'd rather just pack boxes honestly than have this call.
I have to tell you, I totally
Yeah, like sometimes it is easier to just paint a wall.
Yeah, exactly. Can I just go out there and paint today?
Yeah, yeah. Like it's actually kind of nice.
It's kind of fun. They're having a party today. I'm going there, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I really don't want to collect receivables, okay? That's all right.
It's hard to sometimes see something that other people don't.
Right.
So I'm sure nonstop there were these external pressures trying to get you to conform.
Always.
Like no singing on the job site.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing?
Right.
No fun.
Right.
Hey, this is serious. This is business.
Exactly.
Someone's
turn
getting
that
hurt.
music off. Yeah.
How did you cope with that? How did you manage those forces trying to push and pull on you?
I probably, depending on what they were, I filtered it out. and still continue to do it my way unless I saw some kind of valid reason for whatever that external force was that was telling me to do something different or change or whatever. I filtered it and made my own decision.
I see.
I didn't listen.
Okay.
Yeah. You can't.
Yeah. It's easier said than done, though.
Yeah, I know. It is.
It's easier said than done.
Yeah, always.
How? I think in a lot of ways, so I have a big problem with some of the equality stuff.
Yeah.
With men and women.
Oh, I'm with you. Trust me.
So this is where I'm going.
Don't worry.
Because again, I have enough data to see key themes.
Right.
And I cannot in a good conscience say men are equal to women. Like, yes. Should there be
not physically
or mentally or just in a like on average, just the way problems are approached or
okay, sure.
Like I just find women to be so much more thoughtful and to ask the right questions. Like we have Kara on our executive team. If we didn't have Kara on our executive team, the place would be burning down. But then sometimes I've got to go kick the door in. Like I understand all of the potential implications here.
Sure.
But I'm just going to go kick the door in and just be a brute.
Yeah.
And there's a million other things here to get into. Has that, in a way, allowed you to do some of this? You coming at it, being in a very male-oriented world, having a completely different perspective. Has that ever played a role in it, or it's just like,
well, yeah, of course, coming into it. As a female, I looked at it totally different.
Which I think is a huge advantage.
Oh my God, it was such an advantage. I had so many more advantages just because I was a female.
Yeah.
And probably the only female a lot of times in the circle I was running in. And that was an advantage. No question about it. Totally no question about it. I honestly would have to say that there were no disadvantages in being female, even though I was in a totally male-dominated world, because I never allowed it to be a disadvantage. Just do the work. Just show them that you can do the work and that what you're going to do is going to be perfect.
I found women in the industry...
That could lead to a whole other discussion.
Well, that's a whole other can of worms. But women in the industry typically work harder because they have that...
They have to prove. And that's what they have to do.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. I don't take offense to it at all.
Sure.
Many do, but I don't at all.
Yeah. I feel like
you gotta do.
But the ones in the industry don't.
Yeah.
That's what I struggle with. Like, I don't know. Like I struggle being a spokesperson for women in construction because it's like, I don't know. I know a lot of women in construction.
Yeah. So what?
They're fine.
Yeah.
They don't
need any special spokesperson.
Yeah, they don't want
any special. If you're good, you don't need it.
Yeah.
And you don't need anybody to talk about you're a woman in construction, and there needs to be special programs for you so you can have better advantage in getting projects because you're a female. Why?
Sure. Yeah. It's a really it's a nuanced conversation. But the one thing I struggle with is this is always going to be a man world.
Right.
That's not bad.
I understand.
Like that's not bad.
Yeah.
It's just it is what it is. I don't think there's anything you can say to convince me otherwise.
Right.
Because it is very physical.
Yes.
Men are better suited for very physical work than women.
Agreed.
On average.
Agreed.
Big picture.
Yes, exactly.
And it's like...
Right. Could you please lift that? Okay, yes. Of course.
I don't understand why people are afraid to say that because it's like...
don't go there. Don't even go down that road.
But
yeah, I know.
But
that's the truth.
But then there's the other side of it is like, do we need to have a better culture overall? I think so in a lot of ways as an industry.
Yeah.
I think part of that is just being respectful to one another, men,
True.
Women, everybody on job sites. But I don't know. The message oftentimes is inconsistent with the women in the industry I know. And that's what bugs me is like.
Okay. So you're saying the women in the industry that you know are not offended. Is that right?
No,
Good. That's good. They just do the work.
They just do the damn work.
Yeah, exactly.
And they don't like a lot of times they don't want women in construction and stuff.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are frustrated by it. And it has its place. I understand.
Yeah.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
But what I've seen too is that the women in construction stuff creates more resentment. It doesn't.
With who?
With the overall industry. Because it's like, why is because
people think that the reason why it's happening is because it's being shoved down your throat.
Yes.
Yes, I know.
Yes.
I agree.
And
1,000%.
it's like we need our token woman to go out on the job site.
Don't even start me. Oh my God. This is a whole.
And then now the women now it's disrespectful to the women doing the work because they know that's nonsense.
This is going to be.
And then the men are like, this is getting forced down our.
Incorrect. I'm going to tell you politically incorrect.
I'm just stating my observations.
No, you are. You are. I'm with you.
I just find it odd.
It's beyond odd. It's ridiculous, and it's a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I dare go on that topic right now. I don't know.
Yeah, we should probably quit
off the microphone. I will
already.
Because I have great stories.
But
I have such great stories.
Your opinion on it's obviously more valuable than mine because you've lived it for decades.
Right. We don't need any special quotas.
Yeah. The quota thing's another weird.
It's so ridiculous.
It's like, what does that accomplish?
It's only fostering resentment with the rest of the workforce and the rest of the company, right?
Yeah.
I mean, fulfilling quotas for women or various other categories is just...
There's setting a goal of we want 10% women, for example.
Right.
So that you can talk about the goal.
Yeah.
And you to your financiers
exactly
or whatever's going on out there. Yes, we did it. More women in construction.
Yeah.
If you're doing it for that, it's super, super ineffective.
It's artificial. It's absolutely artificial.
But I've also seen it where it's like, hey, we need more women in our workforce because it's going to make us better.
Sure.
And we're going to ask ourselves what we need to do differently to accommodate this different workforce. But this is going to benefit everybody. And here's how it's going to benefit everybody. And let's do this together. And I've seen phenomenal results.
Exactly. I had many women in the field and they were college students too. Okay.
Yeah.
It's being open to it. That's all. Just being open to women doing the work.
Sure.
Not necessarily all the work because perhaps they can't do all the work because they're women.
Yeah.
Just like you said. But they certainly can do a lot of it and many different trades and many different tasks. And just that company being open to it is all that's necessary.
Well, because...
Not fulfilling requirements.
Yeah, open to it for the right reasons.
Yes,
because it makes everybody better. Like, I'm 100% on board with that.
The best person for the job, that's all.
They, like, Finning Caterpillar for... And that's the other big problem I have is like, we need more women in the industry. Okay, so what are you doing to modify your business to accommodate women? Because women are typically doing the caretaking of the elderly and children.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? Oh, you're making your schedule different? Oh, you're offering flexible hours? Or, no, you're requiring them to work the same schedule as everybody. So how does that work? Like, okay, they have 3 young kids, and you require them to work 60 hours. How does that work logistically? Tell me that.
I don't think you can make special rules and exceptions.
But you can't make special rules, but you could offer a more flexible schedule, for example.
You could offer a more flexible
like a part-time schedule.
Absolutely. And that could be available to everyone, not just women.
To everybody. Yeah.
That's what we did. We did that.
That's what I mean. Like, think about how could we...
One category of people cannot have special privileges from another category of people.
like legally speaking.
Yeah. So, a flexible schedule is the best way to accommodate women and other groups of people.
Yeah.
For sure.
Or even, like I went to a workshop in South America in Antofagasta and tons of women in this workshop.
Yeah.
And I was like, how'd you do this?
Yeah.
This is different. This is like, why?
Different mentality for working.
How are there so many women here? And they have a school where they go into the community, recruit young women, teach them basic mechanical skills.
Nice.
Whether they're going to come to work for them or not.
Yeah.
Just giving the community and young women especially
legitimate
mechanical skills. Then they recruit these young women into the program. And then they've designed a lot of tooling to be more for women.
Focused to women's hands and their physical characteristics.
Yes.
Wow.
And it's stuff like that. It's
wow. That's genius.
You all have really thought about this.
Yeah. That is genius.
And then they have different schedules to accommodate people. And it's like, oh, no wonder you have more women in a workshop than I've ever seen
that's
before.
A great example. That is a great example of
Huge
how
win.
to get more women in a non-traditional female environment.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, can of worms though. Can of worms.
It is, because it can go about in 29 directions. Well, I'd like to talk to you more about it, but probably
not with my friends.
Yes, not on your podcast.
So you sold the business.
Correct.
When was that?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Why did you do that?
Why did I do that? Okay, so it was maybe not too long after COVID, and COVID really almost took us down. We were getting ready to start a very large multi-million-dollar renovation project for a big hotel. I was getting all the furniture into my warehouse, huge project, really gearing up for it. COVID happened, everything got shut down, especially hotels. That industry was hit the worst.
Yeah.
So that went on the table, and I had to fight for my life through COVID to stay alive, keep my workforce intact. That ends, we get the project, we start it. It's highly successful, beyond successful. And so at the end of the project, I had a very, very key person give me her notice. And I just thought, you know what? I just don't have the wherewithal to replace this person. And we're on a high right now. We've done really, really, really well.
Because a little bit more context here.
Yeah.
COVID was weird because development just shut off. And then it just roared back.
Right.
Like it was whiplash and a lot of, like I saw construction companies have to just shut down their entire operation.
Right.
And then 6 weeks later, them basically saying, hey, we need you to like double what you were doing
exactly,
before.
Right.
Was it similar in your market in a way?
Exactly. It was just too much. And
that's a lot on either end of the.
Exactly. Right. So it was the right time to put in, to answer the question. It's a little more complex than that.
Yeah.
You know, I had already been thinking about who the successor would be, what the succession would look like. And unfortunately, it just didn't go the way I thought it could with succession.
Yeah.
But ultimately, in the end, my two top guys took all the business. And they took it over and are doing very, very well today. Yeah.
Succession's quite
very tricky.
It's really complex.
Yes, very complex. Yeah.
And it seems like
you have to think about it sooner rather than later. That's for sure.
Well, but in your case too, that's the tricky thing about building a business around an individual.
Yes.
Is that it works for the individual. It doesn't work
if they're not there.
That's
right.
It sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
So it does make it harder.
It does
from
make
a
it harder.
succession plan.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully you've developed your process and systems and people can, work and run without you, but you still need to have the leader.
Yeah.
And usually the leader is why you have certain customers.
Well, you have to have the visionary component to it.
Yes.
Like, where are we going?
Where are we going? Exactly.
Yeah. The operations is one thing. It's a big thing.
Yeah, definitely.
But you have to have the where we're going.
So I don't know if that was a clear-cut answer, but it was the right time and the right place, and that's the decision I made.
So then now...
It was the hardest thing I ever did.
I can imagine.
I had to dismantle a business that took me 37 years to build. Yeah. I really wasn't prepared to do that, but I did it. And it's all working fantastic now because I'm carrying along my message to many, many people. I hope I'm helping people with some of the stories I have to tell and some of the ideas that I used. And
what is the message? We've talked about it.
Yeah, it's all about your culture. It's about your people. That's what it's all about. Have the 3 key ingredients in your business and you won't fail.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, it's simple, but
But to put it into practice is,
hard.
yeah, it's hard. Takes work.
Takes a lot of work.
Takes a lot of work. And
Yeah.
your team has to believe in it,
Yeah.
and it will. Yeah. That's my biggest message, and just some other components of doing business that I perfected and I'm pretty passionate about. Very passionate about sales and marketing.
Mhm.
Very passionate, because I've helped and talked to too many young businesses that have the idea that, they have a fabulous website, great social media, all this great stuff. How come they don't have any business? Because you still have to knock on doors.
Sure.
Nobody knows you have those great tools in place, those great things that make you credible and show the world who you are, but they have to know where to go to see them.
Yeah.
So you got to knock on doors.
Yeah, and business is one handshake at a time.
That's what it is, Aaron.
One relationship at a
Aaron,
time.
that's what it is.
And you,
right.
people are trying to find that secret formula. It's like, no,
It's no secret.
all it is
That's right.
is one relationship at a time.
You got it figured out.
That's all.
Exactly. And so that was also taken to my team. I mean, I had a whole team of guys and gals that could do skilled labor, could do all kinds of things, but guess what? They could also articulate to you our 30-second commercial of what our company did.
Yeah.
From the bottom person to the top.
Yeah.
They could tell customers, thank you for your business.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate your business. They could go on a sales and marketing call with me and watch and observe and see what happens.
Sure.
So they could see everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, and that's another thing that
Mm-hmm.
I think businesses struggle with is they don't leverage that.
Yeah.
Like your people out in the field, wherever they are,
Oh
they're
my
the
God,
ones interacting with the customer, quote
They are
unquote.
so powerful with customers.
But if you don't equip them with the right information,
right.
if their job's not sales and marketing or
yes,
business
it is.
development, it's
They
over
are.
here. We've got a BD guy for that.
Oh my God, no, they're all tools for sales and marketing.
Yeah.
They're all your spokespeople.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. It's
And offering some kind of reward incentive too for people that,
sure,
make an extra effort in doing that.
100%. Yeah, we're trying to figure that out future state.
Yeah.
Because I like, why shouldn't they benefit
They
as
do.
a result?
They absolutely need to.
Yeah. 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 It's just
Yeah. So I love that too. I love that piece of the business.
okay.
I love making calls. Love making sales calls. Especially when I don't have to. Especially when I don't have to worry about making a payroll. It's just great.
Yeah, I'm in a very fortunate position because I get to the media stuff, people like the videos and the podcasts.
Yeah.
They mistakenly assume, and I understand why, that it's all this giant like financial enterprise.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
I get to go wherever I want to go.
Yeah.
And not have to worry about the money.
Yeah.
Because it drives the business over here, which then helps them. I have to worry about the money, but it's actually over here.
Yeah.
And it makes it so much more fun.
Yeah, definitely.
If it's not paid, if it's
Yeah.
not this contract, I'm not
Yeah.
obligated to do
Right.
XYZ, create this kind of product. I can just create the product I want.
Yeah.
Which isn't always right.
Yeah. No, I know. I know.
I've created a lot of terrible products.
Yes. I've gone down rabbit holes myself.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's been fun.
Yeah.
And it's very aligned with me as an individual.
You have it figured out, Aaron. You're not sure that you're figured out, but from what you've said, you have it figured out. Keep on that path.
I think we have the recipe now. We have to just let the cake bake.
Yeah.
Is I think
Just
where
keep
we're
going
at in a
forward
way.
with it.
Yeah. We know what kind of cake we have to make. We've got the ingredients, but now it's a time equation. It just takes time.
Yeah. One relationship at a time.
That's it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Or Summit is a great example.
Yeah.
I mean, we had 700 people attend last year. We'll have about 1,200 this year.
It's unbelievable.
These are senior
I know.
level individuals.
I know.
It looks like we did it overnight,
No.
but over the course of 5 years, we BuildWit,
Yes.
me helping
Yes.
with it, in person shaking hands.
Yeah.
We've built the relationship with every single one of those people in some
I
capacity.
can imagine. I can
So-
absolutely imagine.
5-year endeavor.
Yeah.
And then you still have to call them
But that
13
is,
different times to get them to sign up.
well, you know what? It takes 7 touches.
Yeah.
7. That's the stats.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, 1,200 people, and that's only after 5 years. That's
Well,
very
second year in the events business.
that's very impressive, Aaron.
Yeah.
That is very, very impressive.
It's
oh
exciting.
my gosh. Yeah.
It's pretty
Wow.
cool.
Yes.
And it's last year it was really humbling because it was, you're looking at this room of 700 plus people.
Yeah.
Really high caliber individuals.
I know.
And realize I'm the common thread between all these people.
You are. They're all there because of you.
Crazy.
Yes.
And BuildWitt as a whole, but
uh-huh.
To be building this
network
that
this
we are.
Crazy spider web of.
It's really exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely be excited and be very proud of your accomplishment.
Yeah, I appreciate
it. Huge.
I appreciate it.
Huge.
How are you getting the word out? Is a lot of speaking, or I know you're writing a book.
Yeah. No, well, the book is in progress,
Sure.
but yeah, I have done a fair amount of speaking. I'm actually going to Paris.
Wow.
In 2 weeks.
That's
to
exciting.
Speak on a panel.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. The founder of this organization heard me speak and heard me talk and invited me. I've talked at a lot of chamber meetings. I've talked to some groups of businesses. Wide variety.
Sure.
Wide variety of people have heard me, my message, and just knowing me from being in the business have invited me in.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
You talked at our event in St. Louis.
Oh, that's right. Yes, and your event.
Yeah. Are you coming to the summit?
I'm not sure. I would like to, but I'm coming back from Paris and then I'm jumping on a plane for New Mexico in between.
Yeah.
But I want to because I'd like to network there.
If you're able to get there,
I know.
It would be really good for you.
Yeah, I know it would be.
Yeah.
Be good for my business.
For your business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seriously.
Yeah.
But it'd be good to have you there for everybody else. Like,
sure.
You have a lot to add, and then there's a lot to gain too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, there won't be everybody's a decision maker.
Yeah, I know. I could see that.
It's a good group.
I was impressed with the crowd that came to the St. Louis conference. I know that was much smaller.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it was a really good group. People
yeah.
Really.
Very impressed.
Yeah. Then we had Knife River, really high caliber group there. But Summit's just a different game.
Oh my gosh.
Different game.
Okay, yeah. So I'm trying to figure that out. If I came, it would probably only maybe be for a day or two.
That's fine. Yeah. Even if it's an afternoon, it'd be worth your time.
Okay.
Even if I can only make it in the evening and I'm going to sit at the bar and meet people. Seriously.
Okay.
Seriously. Like even if you make it to the hotel bar.
Yeah.
Worth the trip.
All right.
And if it's not, I'll pay you back or whatever. But no, I mean, you'd have to like sit in the corner and look at the corner. Like
no, I got what you're saying.
Yeah. It'd be hard not to
I'm sure.
meet the right people.
All right. I like that. I might have to really, really try hard then to get there.
Yeah.
Your John has been calling me. He's been good.
Good. Yeah. Every time I talk to somebody, he's like, yeah, they've been calling. Like,
that's good. That's what he needs to do.
Good.
I know.
Sign up. You know, I'm not a natural, like in the traditional sense, a salesperson.
Yeah, you don't need to be.
I don't need to be. I've realized that, but I don't feel bad about really pushing on people to go to the summit because there's so much value from it.
Yes.
And every time someone says, "Oh, we have enough events," I'm like, "You don't understand.
Right.
Just come here once, you'll get it.
Exactly.
Just trust me on this.
Right.
Just trust me."
Right. I love it. That's great.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, I'm really, really happy that Dan, that I guess you reached out.
Oh, I am too. Are you kidding?
That then Dan reached out.
Yes.
We got involved, and there's stuff after this.
Good.
I'd like to talk to you about too, because there's
I want to
bigger opportunities.
Good,
I think.
because I would love to stay connected with you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Likewise. Yeah. No, I it's just, we're just in a cool place. We're just finding all these great people.
I know.
Like
you are. You're attracting people, Aaron.
It's quite fun, but it's like, I would have never come across you otherwise. And
right,
it's just,
same.
Yeah. And yesterday, Nick, I've got a green beret in here and it's just, it's so funny. All of the people, but what's really cool is there's all these great people that have so much interest in the blue collar world. And the dirt world.
Hey, you know what? That's a good line. There's so many people that have an interest in the blue collar world.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
But they've never thought about it.
But they've never thought about it.
Yes. So this is why, like,
do you have that written down somewhere?
No.
That's really good. That very strongly articulates the whole thing.
Yeah. It's quite amazing. I've almost found it odd because we've been able to attract, especially these like some of these really mainstream speakers we're talking to.
Yeah.
They're at the level they don't say yes to most everything
Right.
anymore.
Yeah.
But they've all said yes to us, and it's like, why? Because they start to learn about this world and about the kind of person here, and they just want more of it.
Yeah.
Which I think is just
the blue collar world.
Yeah.
I like that whole little tagline.
Well, it's yours. Take it.
No, you came up with it. Get it on your websites. You know, that's your world. You use it.
We're working through some pretty cool messaging for our website. And
yeah.
Better articulate what we're doing.
Right.
It's actually quite fun right
great.
now. Yeah. Okay. Well, how do people find you?
They can find me on my website, which is khpandcompany.com.
Okay.
And they can email me. They could message me. LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn.
Sure.
Any one of those ways. They could call me on the phone. I answer the phone.
So you're pretty accessible.
Yeah, I'm very accessible.
Yeah. And they can have you out to a company meeting.
They can have me out to a company meeting. I could talk to your group about many different topics.
Okay.
But, I'm motivational and I'm enthusiastic, and that's my message.
Yeah. Well, it's you do a nice job with that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I'm glad you were able to come down. I appreciate it.
Glad you invited me. It was an honor, Aaron.
Oh, yeah. Easy decision.
Yeah.
So,
good.
right on. Well,
good.
Thanks.
Excellent.
That's it.
That's it?
Yeah.